Hello and welcome to Stream Tabulous. So, I want to show you guys how to install Easy Diffusion today. As I discussed in the previous video, it is important to a lot of people because some people don't have the ability to express themselves in art the way they want, and it gives people abilities that they didn't have before. But not only that, AI is evolving. You have to move out of the mindset of this is bad to the mindset of how can I use this tool in what I do and how can it help me improve what I'm doing and make my life easier. And as a photo restorer, that's kind of why I'm interested in it and looking at it. I'm like, well, can I manipulate this? Can I use this to somehow benefit me, make my life easier, and more importantly, help other people out there when I'm actually restoring photos and get them better quality than what I'm currently doing and faster. So I want to show you guys how to install Easy Diffusion. It's a stable diffusion engine, and as I discussed before, it does run offline via models that you download, but we'll cut over and I'll show you how to actually install it. But prior to that, if you guys could like, subscribe, and get the bell on, it'd be greatly appreciated. Liking this video will help me out, and of course, if you like this video and you get to the end and you think it's going to help other people, share it on your social media group, share it on your Facebook profile, just share it around. It'll help me out, and in turn I feel it will help other people out. Don't see many people looking at AI from the point of view that I'm looking at it, and that's what I am going to try to show you guys, how you'll be able to use this tool and manipulate it to do what you need to help if you're doing photo restorations. But this episode is how to install Easy Diffusion, because it's not exactly like a typical installer. It's basically designed to run as a command prompt in the background, and the graphic user interface that exists is thanks to a lot of people out there which do open source work and have made that work with the command line interface to make our lives easier, which is greatly appreciated. So we'll cut over and I'll show you how to install it. But before we do, I think we'll go to the intro and then we'll show you how it works. This is Easy Diffusion. It is a automatic installer for a AI art generator tool called Stable Diffusion. Now you can go to GitHub and get the files to install Stable Diffusion manually, but it is rather complex to do, and this downloader of Easy Diffusion is a much simpler version. So we're just going to click the exe for it, and we're going to go through. And it is actually rather large, so I'm going to change it to my E drive because my C drive doesn't have a lot of space left on it. You can see there it says space required 25 gig. That's been rather moderate because you can download other models based on the type of art that you want to generate or the type of artistic style that you have. And a lot of those models that you download are around about 7 gigs, 6 gig, 7 gig mark. Some of them are larger, you can get smaller ones, but you know, depending on the amount of information you want to feed to it to generate the style of art that you're after, you're going to need quite a number of models, so you want a lot of hard drive space for it. Now this installer is going to take a while, so I'll skip forward and let it finish, and I'll show you the next step. It takes a while because it's got to unpack, but it also goes online and downloads extra files. So be aware of that you do need an internet connection to use this. And you need the internet connection for Easy Diffusion anyway. So we'll skip ahead and we'll get on with the next bit. Now we can see here that it is now actually downloading online content, which it's putting it into the directory to install itself. So that's one of the things that it will take a while to do, and depending on your internet connection, it may take longer than other people. I have a rather slow internet connection for my country. Well, my country's very slow for the internet connection anyway. So for me, this is going to take quite some time. So again, we'll skip ahead. Okay, so now it's finished the installing. We're going to, well, we'll create a desktop shortcut because I know that this won't create one, or didn't when I last installed it into the start menu. So we'll click finish. It's going to do this. Last time I did this, I think it actually stopped here. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. I pressed OK. Okay, so we're just going to leave that for a moment and let it run, and I'll come back to it in a little bit. Oh, no, wait, it says, yep, copied. Yeah, it's still running. Alright. Hotfix broken JSON file from OpenAI. Yeah, so this is the confusing part with the installer. It gets a little hairy because it pauses and it looks like it's broken. So we'll just let this run, and okay, this is what it's meant to do. It's meant to open up with the actual AI. So we'll just close that. So it's opening up with Edge, and I don't know. I want a cat in a space suit. Spacesuit. And we'll just go make image. We've got image settings here. We've got art modifiers here, so we can come through. And when you download the models and put them in, you can actually change this bit here. So this does take a while to do, and depending on your computer and your graphics processor, it may take longer. I did find, coming down to here, where it says GPU memory balanced, change that to high and save it, and it did run faster. But of course that will require a refresh of the page, which will basically restart it. So that's basically how it works anyway. And over here you can actually either draw an image, or you can import a image file to actually use. And down here we can say we want 5 to run. So we'll go make, and we'll do 5 cats in a spacesuit. Maybe we can stop that, and we'll say yes. With helmet. Okay. We'll move that one. There we go. And we'll let this run, and it will generate a cat. Now the model that it's on, SD version 1-4, just down here, is not the best. So I'll show you a website in a moment, and where to get models which are a lot better than the default engine that it's actually using. Okay. So we can see, you just let it run, and it just will generate a whole bunch of kitty cats and spacesuits, and hopefully get something I like. This engine, as I said, is not the good engine. There we go. So that's more like the style that I was hoping and picturing in my head. It's fantastic. So you can come down to here, and the resolution is tiny. So what you can do is hit upscale, and it'll upscale that resolution, and then once you've upscaled the one that you like, you can download it. And this is going to generate me 5 cat images. So that was the first one, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and it's going to do another 2. Now this is an old graphics card. This is only a GTX 1070. Oh no, this one is a... Yes, this is the 1070. So if you have an RTX graphics card, it will run faster than what this is currently running. So anyway, you get the gist of it. I'll cut the video here, and we'll talk about the next part regarding models. Okay, so here we are at Civet AI. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I might not be. Dyslexia is a wonderful thing. This is where we get the models for easy diffusion, stable diffusion. As I discussed in the prior episode, if you watched it, it is the file that contains all the images and information that is used for the AI to look at your prompts and try to work out how to build an image based on what you want. Sounds easy, extraordinarily complex. As I said, it's basically in prior video, it's basically a static image, and then it's like one of those magic pictures where it's squinting and trying to work out how to do it. And in the meanwhile, there's some sort of model in the background which it is manipulating to match your prompt. If you've got like a person with the hands up in the air, it will take a basically like a stick figure and move its arms up in the air. So more complex than you could possibly imagine. Absolutely amazing for what it does. But depending on the model that you put in, that affects the art that comes out. And these models have been trained by people. And the more you put the prompts in and the more you hit the render and make me an image, the more it looks at it and goes, okay, you didn't like that, okay, I'll try this. And it eventually learns based on you putting more prompts in and gets better and better and better. So doing the art isn't as straightforward as one click and you're done. Sorry about that. It does take a while to get what you want. It can take quite a lot of time, to be quite frank. So we come over here and you just simply go under models. Got to remember that I'm actually on another screen rather than clicking on my OBS. So we come over and you can see here, these are your models. So if you wanted to generate a realistic person, you'd go through and download a model which represents a realistic person. Sadly, it is a lot of female models which are used. There are male models in the sub-base for pretty much every single one of these. But that said, if you can find male models, we'll use the search male, and that's what you want to generate. They're the models that you want to use. Of course, if you want to do fantasy or something that looks like it's out of Studio Gimli for the anime, you want to select styles that represent that style of art form that you're trying to do. That goes for architectural backgrounds and so forth. Each one of these is different. You've got checkpoints, which are models. You've got lauras, which work with the model. So you can think of that like an additional artistic style which is put over top, or it could perhaps be faces, a specific person's face, like your own, for example. You can train it to do your own face. Need a pretty hefty graphics card to do so. So you can train it to do that, and then you can make your artwork look like you in every single scenario. You as a Superman, you as an action hero, and so forth. Think kind of like a deep fake. So yeah, that's where you go through and get those, and then you drop those in your folder for your model, which I'll cut over and I'll just show you that quickly. Okay, so here we have the Easy Fusion directory, and if you come up to models here, you just click on that. And if you're downloading a checkpoint, which is your core model, they go into here. Okay, and as you can see, there's some smaller ones and there's some larger ones. Larger models will put more strain on your system, and it will take longer to actually render. So keep that in mind. but you will often get better details. Okay, and if you put downloading Allura goes in there. So checkpoints, Alluras. I believe it actually will have a little file that says Stable Diffusion models in there, but that's what a checkpoint is. So yeah, that's that part. I'm going to throw back over to how to launch this, because it's a launcher. You want to come into your Easy Diffusion, and then you want to double click on this, and every time you do it, it's going to update, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you go into your eDrive Easy Diffusion where you've installed it to run it the next time, you want to click here. It will come through and it will automatically download and update its files. So you'll have to let that go through. And once it's finished, it should launch. If it doesn't launch, I think you just press the Enter key, if I remember correctly. So I'll let this run, and we'll just see where it ends up. Just trying to see the size of the file and see if it's worth cutting forward. Okay, yeah, so I think you get to this point here and we can just press, nope. Okay, so it's a waiting game from this point. We'll have to wait and then it should launch. So we'll cut forward and we'll see what happens. Moment where I just let it run, it started downloading and is currently updating itself. So we'll just let that run for a bit, and it should finish itself. So that's one of the catches. Once you install it that first time, it does download and update its core files. So it's something that you do want to know. So we'll let this run for a bit. But this is how you'd relaunch it. You'd want to create a shortcut to that command line. And there we go there. And now she's launched itself open. With the update, I notice it's removed the image modifiers. Has moved to the image modifiers button at the top, just below the prompt. So there's our image modifiers there now. So we can come through and turn those on prior to actually clicking what we need to do. Okay, so that's it. And again, when we click that off, this is going to stay up on the screen, and then we want to click this here and then give it a moment and it will fully close. And then to open it, we click this again, let it run. If it needs to update, which it will update automatically, it will. And so you just let that run until it does its bit, and she'll automatically launch. So maybe a little bit daunting, especially for the first launch, because it does take a bit, because it is updating and loading itself. So there you go, that's how to install it, and the full front end for that. So that's how to install Easy Diffusion. Now, I found watching a lot of videos on how to install it, they cut out all those little headaches along the way where your head scratching going, well, is it still installing? It's just more click here, this will load, wait, it's done. So I wanted to show that little headache at the background, that because it does use a command line interface, that there's no progress bar. So you don't know, is it still downloading to update itself? Has it crashed? What's going on? Do I have to press anything? Do I have to do anything? Because it is a little complex in that stage, or a little frustrating in that stage, not having a progress bar and not knowing what's going on. So I wanted to show you that front end, so you don't sort of go, oh, I think it's broken, and just kill it and cross it out. And of course, downloading the models is easy on the Civet AI website. You just click one of those images of the models that you want, so your checkpoint, and then you just simply, we'll see a download there, you download it and put it in the file as I said. And of course, I will do another video on trying to use it to help with restoration, and you'll have more of an understanding of how to actually set up those models. And I showed before in the previous video about this, and we need to talk about it and why people should have a more open mind, I talked a little bit of how those settings actually work. So go watch that if you need to, and that will give you some help. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there on how to use it as well. It is a bit daunting. It is not as straightforward as people think of writing something in, hitting render and going, oh, you know, this is my art. It's complex. There's a lot of little things that you need to do to get what you want, the vision that is in your head, out on the screen. Some people may just click run and put an image up and go, that's what I wanted. But for someone which may not have hands and is using voice to text, or someone which is more passionate about what they're doing, myself included, they're going to take a lot more time in going, this isn't what I'm picturing, this isn't what I want. Try this, try that, change this setting, change that setting, more prompt, more prompt. And as you do the more prompts, and every time you hit make me an image, it's going, okay, you didn't want that, change that, and it learns. And it builds upon what it's actually learning to get closer and closer and closer until you get what you're actually looking for. So it's not as cut and dry as people think. People seem to think that it's really straightforward. Look, I was one of those, but at the same time, I didn't know where to get these. I hear there's Midjourney, and there's a lot of pay-to-use websites. They also have, you know, people in queue to actually generate their art, which can take about 8 minutes. So, you know, it's sort of one of those things, run in the background, walk away, go back to it, and it's like, well, that's not what I wanted, and you have to do it again. Something like Automatic 11 and Easy Diffusion, you've got the power to actually do it on your computer. Yes, you need fairly decent hardware. As I said, this is a 1070 SC. Just means super clocked. It's, you know, overclocked, run better, and it's capable of doing it. There is a wait time with it. The bigger the models you use, especially the SDXLs, the extra larges, they take quite some time, so be aware of that. And yeah, try it. You might actually find it rather surprising, and if you've got a system that can run it, give it a bash. There are people running it on laptops. It doesn't hurt to put it in and give it a try and see if it works for you, and if it doesn't work, you just delete the folder. I don't believe there's an uninstall directory in it. To what I have read, it's literally just right click and delete the folder that created for the install. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and get the bell on for notifications for the next video. I'll be trying to incorporate this into some photo restorations, and we'll see how it goes with that. And yeah, of course, pop on over to the Facebook group and join up with that. And if you've got a photo that needs restoring, put it up there. If you're an artist that is getting into photo restorations or does photo restorations, join. The more artists that we have on board there, the more grateful I am, because you're offering your skills to help those that don't know how to do this sort of thing. Yeah. And like, subscribe, get the bell on, and I will see you in the next Streamtabulous. Thank you for watching my video and sticking around to the end. If you like my videos, it'd really help me out if you could like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm to push my videos out there to more viewers, which in turn helps me and helps everyone. So thank you for watching my video and hanging around to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, you'll see a button there, okay? It's an outtake.